Hello guys, and welcome back to more Entitled People stories. Hope you're all doing awesome today, and as usual, it's time to jump into some more Reddit posts. So let's get into it, friends. Bizarre woman tries to steal my fries at the food court. This happened at the food court at my local mall the other day, and it's weird how boundaries and basic social conventions seem not to apply to some people these days. So me and my wife go to the mall, and decide while browsing that we're going to get some food. We go. My wife says she's not hungry, but I get a burger and fries and then start eating. Halfway through, my wife says she is in fact hungry, and she's going to steal some fries. Fair enough. I let her take some fries and she eats them. A little while later, I've started on the burger and my wife says she needs the bathroom and walks off, and I have some fries left on the side of my plate. I look down to use my phone as I get a DM from someone, and then I hear a rustling sound at the side of the plate. I look up, thinking my wife has come back and has decided she wants more, and say, "Hey honey, guess you've made some extra room for more fries," and then spot that no, it's not my wife. There's some random woman, mid-30s, putting her hand in my plate, about to grab the fries. She laughs and says, "Wow, suddenly we're super acquainted, aren't we?" I laugh out of disbelief and say, "Excuse me, why are you trying to steal my food?" She acts offended and says, "Well, you let the other woman sitting by you steal some fries, and you clearly don't want these, so I thought I could have them." I explained that the other woman sitting by me was my wife, but she's just some random person who I don't know, and doesn't have any right to my food as I hadn't invited her. She just rolls her eyes, snorts, lets go of my fries, and then walks off. I sit there for a second in disbelief that someone just tried that, and my wife comes back and asks what the woman storming away from my table wanted. I explained what just happened, and we both laughed as it was weird, inappropriate, and something that most people should probably have learned way earlier than someone who seemed in her 30s. I'll just take the stranger's food without asking. It's certainly an interesting take on things, but not one I agree with. I spent over $5,000 to inconvenience and embarrass a competitor who treated me like crap. It was worth it. So I used to run a small business, Wedding Space, and I was very successful in a very short period of time, to the point that I was getting all expense-paid invites to industry conferences less than 6 months after I opened. Needless to say, this ruffled feathers. Enter Kate. Kate is a chief Karen who competes in the same space, and has been nothing but awful to me from the moment she became aware that I wasn't just competition, I was doing better business than her. She would complain that I had gotten expenses paid, implied that it was because I was pretty, said that she felt people who had been in the space longer deserved it more, and a vaguely racist statement about how my outfit colors don't look good on dark-skinned people. She also reported my booth for accidentally being less than 3 inches outside her 10x10 slot, and has tried on more than one occasion to have my competing products removed from vendor halls. Needless to say, I despise this woman. Now fast forward a little bit into the pandemic. I see major issues on the horizon for my business, and so I decide to step out and sell for a pretty penny. Bought a condo, took a job at a nonprofit, and moved along with my life. But some of my friends still in the industry would give me updates or vent, and I was absolutely right to sell. Most everyone doing what I do has already closed, including the person I sold to. Kate, however, was still going strong, though I noticed her prices were really aggressive. My friend then showed me SS, that Kate had bragged privately about claiming to be unemployed or disabled by using her longtime partner as a cover for her business, then dropping prices below what other sellers could do because she was double dipping. This really made me angry. I have a mobility disability, and I felt horrible for the people she was running out of business by pricing so low. So I of course reported her, but nothing seemed to come of that. Then one of the biggest conferences of our local industry came up on my calendar. This conference costs $8 to $10K to vend at, and many vendors make 50% plus of their yearly income from this one event. My friend runs the vending hall, so I asked her to place me right next to Kate. Now when I left the industry, I still had great contacts on the manufacturing side, because I speak Chinese fairly well. I found the manufacturer for Kate's top-selling items, and ordered a sizable inventory to take with me to the conference. I priced them at cost, and made ginormous signs about inventory liquidation, and created these super aggressive bundle deals that made it nearly impossible for her to do any business, being right next to me. I could see her over there fuming, and she did try to come over and complain, but our booth was too busy to even entertain her obnoxious huffing and puffing. She closed her shop last week. I lost about $5,000 doing this, but I got a lot of people deals on packages and items that they never thought they could afford for their special day. And it was honestly fun to help people out, especially at her expense. Now that really is the definition of FU money. Of all the things you could do with $5,000, it's honestly amusing that OP thought getting back at her was worth that price tag. To each their own, I guess. Entitled passenger. Yesterday I was on a flight from Charlotte, North Carolina to Phoenix, Arizona. I am disabled. Back issue. Doesn't really matter, but for context, that's why I am right up front. I am in the front row. Now on most airlines, the front row is first class, but this particular airline doesn't have seating arrangements. It's all about the number on your boarding pass. The first bin is for those of us in the front rows, to put our purse or backpacks because we can't put them under the seat in front of us. This woman gets on pretty close to last, and starts shoving her stuff on top of everyone else's things in the first bin, even though it's full. Mind you, there is plenty of room in the bin right behind the first one. Ma'am, you are shoving your purse into my backpack and my iPad is in there, as are my headphones. Could you please stop? Well, you shouldn't have your stuff in there. Why aren't you holding them? Said the entitled person. Because we aren't allowed to have them in our lap until after we take off. They already announced it. There is plenty of room for your purse and bag in the bin right behind you. No, I don't want my bag way back there. It's literally right next to that one, and you wouldn't have your crap all over my backpack. Nope, not moving it. Cue my pettiness. As soon as we took off, I made sure to get up and get my headphones. Here you go, ma'am. Can you hold your purse while I get my headphones? Excuse me, ma'am, can you hold your purse while I get my iPad? Excuse me, ma'am, can you hold your purse while I get my lip gloss? Excuse me, ma'am, can you hold your purse while I put my headphones away and get my earbuds? I made about 10 trips getting into my backpack just to annoy her, because she refused to be a decent person. She was giving me the stink eye after about the third time, but I didn't care. You don't care about being a decent person, I don't care about you having a nice flight. All of the passengers around me caught on to what I was doing pretty quickly, and giggled every single time I unbuckled my seatbelt. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. Hopefully this will teach this woman not to be so entitled, but I doubt it. Wild Karen chased my friends and I. We were mounted on horses, with her car. So this requires a tiny bit of context. I live in a county in southern Alberta, so we are allowed to ride in ditches and on canals. Between the road and Karen's property line there is a ditch that I ride in frequently. This wild Karen does not have a perimeter fence or any way of saying please don't ride here. I wasn't going to post this, but it's absolutely ridiculous, and somebody might get a laugh out of it. I hope I can laugh about this later, because I am scared to ride near there again because I don't want to put horses in danger. I don't care about me, I care about the horses and my friends. We plan to file a report. Even if nothing comes of it, at least we tried. With that out of the way, here we go. My friends and I, who 3 were on fancy sport horses, and 1 on a young horse who was very green, were riding on the canals. And on our way back to my property, we had to go by Karen's land. We were on county land, the ditch, beside the main road, being kids on horses. Nothing reckless, nothing dangerous. As we were passing my less than lovely neighbor's land, she and her husband show up in their car. When she stopped, she was roughly a meter, 3-ish feet away from my sport horse. Basically, she nearly hit my horse with her car. The rider on the young horse was a short ways behind us. She stopped and was all, "Get off my land." And I could only say, "Okay, sorry. Not your land, but fine." I was still in shock from the horse I love very much nearly being hit by a car. All 3 of us that were ahead were under 18. Madam, get off my lawn, that isn't actually mine, then drove faster than she should have toward the young horse. I didn't hear exactly what she said, but I learned afterwards that my friend, who was an adult, said that chasing her horse with a car would not make them go any faster. She was less than a meter, I would say around 2 feet, from the young horse's butt, and thankfully the horse didn't kick, because that would have escalated things to I don't know where. I circled back to help the young horse, to help keep it calm, because my horse is hard to spook, and to make sure the young didn't get too scared. She chased us the entire way across. Once we were off the county land that they manicure and we made it home, my dad went to ask why they did such dangerous and plainly stupid things with kids on unpredictable animals such as horses. It is because Karen's less than lovely husband doesn't want to mow horse crap on his fancy ride-on lawnmower. I wish I was kidding. Had she said something along the lines of, "Could you please ride in the other ditch or the pavement when you pass our property?" we would have gladly moved over. But the fact she nearly hit 2 of the horses and was overall very reckless and dangerous blows my mind. The people in my area are very entitled, and tend to be more concerned about their lawn than the safety of other people while mounted on horses. This isn't the first time Karen has caused issues for one of our riders. The last one was a peace officer, but this isn't her district, so she couldn't do anything. But this time, her and her husband put riders in incredible amounts of danger. Thankfully, the horses were well behaved, considering the situation, because one of us or more than one of us could have gotten seriously hurt. Update. Mr. and Mrs. I have nothing better to do than protect my lawn while driving on it were visited by the local law enforcement, and the rules were explained to them. So in theory, things should be resolved. They left for a camping venture, so I plan to go riding while they are away, and just avoid the problem entirely. I definitely feel better now that the police have done something. Even if things don't change, it means they could be in a rough position if they do something again. Alas, Mr. and Mrs. Karen of Karen County have such boring lives that they worry about mowing horse turds instead of, safety. This is definitely a situation where just a little bit of kindness can go a long way. I think Mr. and Mrs. Karen wanting other people to be mindful of where they ride their horses is a perfectly reasonable wish, but the way they went about it was not reasonable. Trying to intimidate them with the car in the way they did is just some seriously unhinged behavior. I get the feeling they were almost hoping for something to happen. No, you can't see your dying relative. This drove me crazy when it happened and drove my instant resignation, but here goes. I had been working as a dispatch supervisor for about a year or so in a warehouse for a company getting on their feet and expanding quickly. I would work long hours for crap pay, but I believe there are rewards for really putting in, with most things in life. We had a pretty crappy warehouse management system, but I spent the time making it work, setting up Wi-Fi and scanners in the warehouse, along with processes for picking and dispatching, etc. Over time, I was pushed harder and harder without receiving any appreciation for my efforts, even basic gratitude. Money was not everything. It got rather close to Christmas and my grandfather was about to pass, and I wanted to take a week off to see him and say goodbye. I was flatly refused any leave because it was close to Christmas. This was not written in my contract, by the way. Even after providing solid proof, I was not making this up. I went back a few times even to the point of asking for 1 day. Denied. I was furious. I absolutely crippled the warehouse management system, Wi-Fi, scanners, and a bunch of other things they needed to function. Resigned with immediate effect and walked out. It was a dick move, but screw 'em. Somebody would have been able to fix it, but it would have been quite the headache. Anyway guys, that's going to be all for today. Thank you for watching, I appreciate it. Be sure to hit that like button if you enjoyed, and also subscribe to the channel for more. So take care, I'll see you all next time.